Well, hello, it's Donna here from Homesteading NZ Blind Knitter with the Blind Knitter. Yes, I'm blind. Am legally blind and I knit, I sew, I craft, I garden. I do all those things. So my podcast is very varied. It depends what's going on at the time, seasonally and eyesight-wise, weather-wise, all of that. So you never know what you're going to get on here. It started just specifically as a knitting podcast, but I have sort of started to add my other interests and things I do here. So I haven't been on for quite some time. I have had COVID, and Mr. Farmer has had COVID. He's still struggling with it, actually. I'm coming out the other end, but I still get that silly little cough, so excuse me for that. I still get that, but Mr. Farmer, gosh, he's really struggling with it. I think it tends to hit you in your weakest spot, and we both have weak lungs. I've had whooping cough twice, and have asthma, and Mr. Farmer has had pneumonia twice. So obviously that's one of our weakest spots that things hit us. So we've had a couple of rough weeks, but we're coming through it. So yeah, I'm back. I just felt I couldn't, as you can tell, I'm still struggling a bit, but I just felt I couldn't have a chat without these awful coughing fits and anything. So it is March the 21st. It's raining, a lovely drizzly wetting rain outside, and so I've just been out. It's 9:30. I've just been out and planted a whole lot of cabbages, collies and broccolis in my garden. I didn't take you with me because, well, it's raining. Didn't want you to get wet or cold, so I just went out and planted those. They've been hardening up in the garden. I brought those before I got sick, so they desperately needed to go out because they hopefully will bolt now. But the garden's just full of everything. We're picking boysenberries every day and freezing those. We're freezing those individually, so we'll pick them. I've got a tray in the freezer, and we just spread them on the tray. When they're frozen, we pop them into a plastic bag, and then we add the next lot. So we're doing that. Cherry tomato, and my tomatoes have been lovely, but not enough to make any sauces or anything, just enough to keep us busy eating. Yeah, it's not like we've got this massive bucket loads coming in, and that may happen yet. I can still see a lot of tomatoes on there, but at the moment we're just able to bring in enough to give away to friends occasionally and eat. I did get given some tomatoes a couple of weeks ago, and I made a whole lot of bolognese sauce. Didn't bring you along, I just wasn't in the mood, but I just made this humongous pot, and actually no, what I didn't do it in the pot this time, which I always do. I did it in the crock pot. I saw a podcast and I thought, what a good idea. So I threw all the tomatoes in the crock pot, masses of basil out of my garden. I planted basil specifically to make bolognese sauce because it's so handy in the winter for casseroles and soups and bologneses, etc. So I packed it with basil and some balsamic vinegar and a bit of sugar, which you should always add, and salt, and I left it going in the crock pot for 8 hours. It did need more, so I put it on for another 5, so it did take a long time to go down, but it did go down, and then I just blitzed it with my stick blitzer and froze it up in bags. So really pleased with that. We had frozen carrots out of my freezer last night that I froze last year. Never actually done carrots before. They were okay. They were a little sort of tough on the outside and soft and mushy on the inside. I think they'd be better in soups and casseroles. So, but they were okay. You know, you need. My mother always said you had to have 3 colours on your plate, and that's why I got them out, because I didn't have any orange in my fridge. I had red. We had red cabbage, and what did we have last night? We had little baby potato top pies. We had those each, and red cabbage and carrots, and what was the other vegetable? Peas. So we had green, red, and orange. Yeah, we had a rainbow of colours. Yeah, so aren't we good health-wise? Don't know, we have to be because we're so sick. Yeah, the nashis fruiting away. I'm eating a nashi a day from my tree, which has just been enough. We would have had Leyden, and I think I've told you the story. The dogs helped themselves to the nashis. Mr. Farmer was not a happy-chappy, so electric fence has gone around there. So we've had just enough to come in for Mr. Farmer to eat occasionally. He's not overfussed on them, but I love nashis, and I'm allergic to apples, so for me it's a great exchange. So I've had one a day of those. We both eat a lot of fruit. So, and our peaches are peachering, and we're eating those, and that's been wonderful. Yum. You just can't beat them straight off the tree. It makes you realise how plastic the fruit and veg in the supermarkets tastes when you eat it straight from the tree or straight from the garden. Yeah, so getting lots of things out of the garden, lots of lettuce for salad sandwiches, and still having the occasional salad, although the weather is turning. And I have been sewing up a storm. I really have got my sojo back. Lots of lovely light in the summer, and also I can't cope with heat, so knitting I get very hot. I have been doing some crocheting, and I will show you that in this podcast where I'm up to with that and what my next step for my knitting is, because it is starting to get to the stage where it's like, oh yeah, evenings are getting a bit longer. I can start doing some knitting when it's cooler. So I'm going to show you my sewing, and first of all I'm going to have some breakfast. Look, I've got muffins, split muffins and butter on. That looks like a lot of butter, but it's not. It's super thin. It's been shaved. It's just not. I hate hot melted butter on things. I like it sitting on the top cold. So I'm going to have a Barocca, cup of coffee and my split muffins, and then I'll come back and show you my sewing I've done. I'm wearing one of my makes. I've just been sewing up a storm. All easy stuff, all, nothing tailored. Well, have I done anything tailored? I've started a dress, which my mission is to carry on with now. That's some more tailored. I haven't really done anything tailored. It's all been really quick stuff. Overlocking stuff. They don't have darts, there's no buttons, zips or anything like that to worry about, so it will look like a heck of a lot, and it is a heck of a lot of sewing, but so when I come back after brekkie I will show you my sewing, and I've done a little photo of most of the wears so that you can see them on me, and then we will talk about my knitting and where that's at. Mental health wise, what did I want to talk about? I know that it's getting to the stage where it is winter, and a lot of people suffer with SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which is feeling really low in the winter and not being able to pick themselves up out of it. It's a very real thing, and people do struggle completely with it. So one of the things that is really good for us at the moment is to get at least 10 minutes of sunlight in our eyes, not direction, not looking at the sun, but to get outside and just spend 10 minutes with the sun going through our eyes and build up that vitamin D, which we need to in our body. So 10 minutes out in the sun is critical for now, but just preparing yourselves. Winter can be a lovely time, and lots of lovely movies and by the fire and board games with the kids, and it can be a really lovely time, but it can also be very isolating and lonely, and if you're feeling low. So really think about what could trip you up over winter. What are the things that you're going to really struggle with, and how can you mitigate that? Even if it is arranging a coffee once a fortnight with a mate, so that you're at least making contact with someone and making social connections, because we do isolate ourselves a lot more for obvious reasons in the winter. So try not to isolate yourself so much. Get some vitamin D. Get some wonderful jigsaw puzzles, op shops, jigsaw puzzles, and even colour-in books, and you get adult colour-in books and adult Lego. Start thinking about what are the things that I can sit and do in the winter that can keep me stimulated, can give me that serotonin and bubble bath that I talk about. Something that you enjoy, that's repetitive, that can build that serotonin naturally up in your brain, and something that has a reward at the end, so you can get a dopamine hit. So things like jigsaw puzzles, reading, anything that's repetitive that you enjoy, that has a reward, gives you this bubble bath of happiness in your brain. And so start thinking about the things that you can do. Get them now. Get a couple of exciting jigsaw puzzles from the op shop and an adult colouring book. And if you want to learn a craft, get it all ready and sitting there for winter time, and plan those times when you, even if you, one of my favourite things to do in the winter is to go to the movies during the afternoon, not at night time, because with my sight problems, I get night blindness, so at night time I'm totally blind, it's just black. So I try really hard not to go out too much in the evenings, especially to places where, like the movies, where you can have lots of steps in the dark and that sort of thing. I do it, but I prefer to do it at different times. So yeah, being aware that we can get a bit low and a bit lonely and a bit isolated in the winter for some people is a challenge. And so starting to prepare now, or think about, those neighbours or your grandparents or your parents that might be feeling a little lonely and isolated in the winter when things are not quite so social. It's very difficult to even to get out and to chat to your neighbours in the winter. Anyway, that's for your mental well-being, is to consider it's a seasonal change, and to try and mould yourself into and prepare for that seasonal change. I'm going to go and have my brekkie while I can, and I'll be back shortly with my sewing. Bye for now. Hi guys, back again. So I'm in my seat that I work in, my counselling seat. This is also my sewing room, and as I said before, sewing is kind of a major priority at the moment. My mojo, the lighting's good, and I've really just been going for it. So I'm just going to talk a bit about what I've been making, go through my makes. Look at this. It has, as I say, my sojo's got ridiculous. And I've done a pile about the size recently. Are you straight on me? I think you're not straight on me. Is that better? Yeah, it's better. I think. Anyway, so what I've been making. So this first one is a dress. It is made out of patchwork material that a friend of mine's got a shop called Stitchin', and I fell in love with this material. I know it looks like grandma's curtains, and that is what it's supposed to look like. I love that look. Grandma's curtains, great for me. So grandma's curtains, but anyway, it's got a plain bodice on it. It's beautiful cotton with a sort of a sateen feel about it as well. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough material for me to do the whole thing in this one piece, so we found the matching one. That there is this fabric. If you have a look closely, you'll see that, oops, I'm not sure if you're seeing that, but the two match. So I did the bodice. I don't know whether to elasticate the arms or not and make them puffed. I didn't have enough material to make it really puffy, which is what the pattern I've used. Now the pattern I've used is Pattern Emporium's, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a puff sleeved bodice feathered top with tears. Oops, so it's got tears. Down the bottom is another tier. I love it. I'm really happy with it. I do feel, I hope it doesn't look like a maternity frock on me, because I do have a grandma tummy, and sometimes if you wear things that are quite gathered, the grandma tummy can stand up, or stand out I should say. But I've got pictures of all these at the end, so I'm really happy with it. I am disappointed that I didn't have enough of the material to make the whole thing in the fabric that I love, but hey ho. So that's, I guess this was what you would call a long make, so it wasn't a make that took an hour, it was a few hours sewing. Gathering itself takes a bit of time. I have to say that I'm loving using clips. Because of my site, I use clips, little pegs now, instead of pins. Pins are just dangerous for me now. If I drop them, I can't find them. Loving the little clips, really enjoying that. So it makes it a lot easier. So yeah, I think that I've actually really enjoyed them. I thought, gosh, why haven't I used these before? So that's make number one that I finished yesterday. I will wear it without the elastic in the sleeve and see how it feels. And then if I decide to, it's all ready to go, it would take 10 minutes to whip some elastic in the sleeve, and well, not even that, and tighten it up. I've left the gap for it to thread it through. Just don't know, because I quite like the 3/4 just straight sleeve as well. So I just play it by ear. Make number one. There we go. Make number two. Now I am, and I'm pretty sure I've said this, going on holiday with a friend of mine, Vicky, and we are going over on a Mediterranean cruise in spring, so it'll be quite hot over there. And I don't want to get chub rub. So I made myself some little pants, some, and I don't know if you can see those, but this was cheap as chips. It was $5 a metre. It was sort of just a remnants sale that one of our fabric shops in town has. It's quite see-through, and I thought, oh gosh, what can I make with that? And grey's not a colour I wear. I think grey isn't a colour that does me too many favours. But for underdresses, so that my legs don't rub together when I'm walking all around, I made 2 pair of those. There's another pair here somewhere. Anyway, oh yeah, on the top. So 2 pair of those. They take, honestly, half an hour to make. They're so quick. And I just cut out a pair of leggings that I already had. You know what these remind me of? I had a dear Auntie Jean who was kind of my mum's mum. My grandmother died before we were born, and her sister, my Auntie Jean, took on the role as grandma, and she'd never had any children at all. So we were kind of quite special to her, and she did treat us beautifully. She was our grandmother really, but we called her Auntie Jean. She was a rather large woman, and she used to wear big bloomers. Sorry, Auntie Jean, God bless you. Knickers, great big bloomers. And these, when I was saying them, I thought, oh my gosh, Auntie Jean's knickers. And I'll tell you a funny story. She used to, because she used to hang her washing, she put her knickers on the inside of the clothesline and all the other stuff on the outside so that people couldn't see them, or bloomers I should say, her bloomers on the inside, and her washing got pinched one day and the only thing that was left was all of her bloomers. She was mortified. Oh, God bless. Anyway, those 2 there will be quite useful just to keep the legs at bay while I'm walking, so I don't get chub rub. Took me a couple of dollars worth of fabric. It was $5 a metre, and it was really wide, so I don't think I even used a metre. Yeah, say $5, and half an hour sewing. So I thought, oh, I brought a whole lot of this $5 a metre stuff, so that we could use it for crafts with the youth group that I run at my centre, because it was so cheap. And so I thought, right, I'll make myself knickers, because I used to make knickers years ago, mostly for the kids, but and I thought, well, I'll make myself some knickers, and I cut a pattern out, and they look quite good. There's one pair, and I thought, well, done a good job there. So there's the other pair. I put knicker elastic on them, if you can see the white knicker elastic on there and around the leg. I was really proud of myself till I went to put them on. Rip, shit and bust, Donna. I've always been rip, shit and bust. I'll never change. So this fabric is only a one-way stretch, and it's not a big one-way stretch. It's very small, and effectively they fit me, but they don't stretch, so they're not comfortable. They're very firm. So what a waste. I will send them to the op shop because they're brand new, obviously never worn, and someone might fit them, wear them. If not, it's no biggie. But I'm going to make some more because I quite like the idea of these. Yeah, and also they needed to be higher. I quite like high top, yeah. Anyway, sorry for talking about my knickers, but 2 pair of knickers, waste of time, a bit fiddly. only because I haven't done knicker elastic for such a long time. So I did it 2 different ways. The first pair I did, sewed the knicker elastic on the top of the around it, if you can see that, and the other one I sewed it so that you only saw the lace. 2 different ways. Put a gusset in the bottom of them in the crutch. Oh, that's not the gusset, is it? There's a gusset somewhere there. So really they're great knickers, but I chose the wrong fabric. Rookie mistake, and I'm not a rookie, but it's been a long time and I just didn't think, just got excited, brain fart, and cut them out. So there's those ones. Oh, dropping them also. 2 pair of those. That's hopefully not a waste. I hope that they'll fit someone in the long run. I had this black material. I don't know what type of material. It's very stretchy. Mostly it's a 2-way stretch, but more one than the other, and it's nice, and it's very much like it's trouser material. So I thought, well, I'll whip up a pair of trousers, and I found I don't really like buying patterns. I either cut patterns from what I've got, or I've got a whole lot that I brought from op shops over the years that I just use. So I whipped up a pair of wide leg trousers. They're very wide leg, as you can see, and I just put a band on the top. If you can see that, if you can see, I didn't even change the overlocking thread. It's white overlocking thread. No one's going to see. So, and they fit beautifully. They do. People kept saying they were too long, and they're not when I put them on in the morning. They just, when they get warm, it's a bit like linen it gives. So I do need to take probably an inch off there, or tighten them up the top, one or the other. But I'm too lazy at the moment, so I just wear them quite long. I quite like them sort of, and they are a very wide bottom on them, so you can see it's a very wide leg. I quite like them. So there we go, and that's the black pants, and they honestly, they don't take long. How long would they take? Yeah, an hour. I looked through all my old, not that I have a lot of stash of fabrics, because I just don't keep stash, but quite some time ago I was given a big bag of remnants by someone, and I went through them and kept the bits that I thought were of use. One of the bits, or 2 of the bits really, were obviously for excuse me, jerseys. This is the leftover COVID thing that hits me every now and then. A factory made jerseys. So it was a circle, complete circle, with a little rib on the bottom. If you can see that. And it was just a tube. And so what I did is I cut the top off so that I had enough to make some bands, and I cut a sleeve line out of it and a neckline, and I made a vest. So there were 2 pieces of those, so I made 2 vests. The other one didn't have enough material to put the bands on, so there's the band there. I didn't have enough material to put the bands on, so I just folded it under and sewed it under. It looks fine, there's nothing wrong with it. The bands probably are a little bit more finished. So that's a vest. It's not a colour, again, it's not a colour that I wear. It's very much an autumn winter colour, but I figured with a collar, like a pale cream collar, or I've got a linen shirt that's cream with sort of gold stripes, this coloured stripes in it. So that may well be quite a nice little vest in the winter. Haven't worn it yet, obviously it's too hot, but see how we go. I've got 2 of those, and they were just using weird sort of scrappy bits that I've got. Thought, I don't know what to use those for. Again, there's all, at the end of this video, there is pictures of all of these. So the $5 a metre stuff, I went back and I said to the lady, well actually, because I don't drive, sometimes things like that are a challenge, so I rang them and I said, just put 6 colours aside, 2 metres of each, and I thought, they'll be great t-shirts for the grandies or whatever. So I came home with well, effectively 12 metres of different colours. There's a couple of colours that I probably, like a, what would you call it, sapphire blue. It's not a colour I wear. It's got nothing against it, but it would look quite nice with white sleeves. So I thought maybe one of those softball shirts, you know, with the raglans, so the white shirt, white front and back, and the blue sleeves or something like that. So that's tucked away. I am not going to pull it out because it's precariously tucked away in my bookcase. But one of the colours was this colour, and I thought, oh yes, this is me, because I'm a spring summer colour, and so I love bright colours. These really do it for me. And because I had plenty, I thought I would make some t-shirt dresses. So that's the t-shirt dress. Basically, it's just the plain old t-shirt pattern, and I have lengthened it. So I'm an hourglass shape, so luckily enough these kind of look okay on me. I have made it loose enough so that it doesn't make me look like a sausage, but tight enough so that it kind of gives me just a little bit of flexy shape. So I put a band around the collar. I made the neckline reasonably big, so it comes down like this one. This is a make 2 that I've made this size, and I put a band around it. I didn't know what sort of sleeves to make, actually. I thought, oh, what shall I do? Shall I put sleeves on it? And then I thought, no, I don't want any more of tank tops. But I didn't want long sleeves, because if I take this away on holiday, it's going to be hot or nice and warm. So I thought, well, I'll do like a little cap sleeve. So I put a little cap. I didn't even use a pattern. I just made a band quite a bit wider, so it's a couple of 3 inches, and I really like it. So yeah, that is just a, well, $5 dress. Maybe a little bit more. It took more than a metre, so maybe $10 dress. $10 dress, t-shirt pattern. Used an old t-shirt pattern that it's my old faithful that I call, it's kind of used as my block. So that one is that. Liked it so much. And there was another colour. That's the other colour. I really love this colour. And these look great with a big chunky necklace on. They're so simple and plain, you know, chunky necklace on them just sort of gives it a little something, a bit of something. Made it exactly the same, so did the neckline with the band, liked the cap sleeve, so I did it again. I just copied what I'd done on that one, and again, same thing, same old. So another $10 t-shirt dress, and these again are so quick to make. I mean, you could make this in less than an hour, really, truly, very quick. Oh, sewology. Yes, I've done a lot, I have to be honest, and it's like I have promised myself when I bring an item of clothing in, I've got to take an item of clothing out. Anyway, a long time ago I brought some material that I fell in love with. I just walked into the fabric shop and I saw it and I thought, oh, I've just got to have it. It's just the most beautiful. This is me. I mean, the grandma's curtains material and something like this is just, I love it, love it, love it, love it. And so I brought some of this, and it's got a stretch. It's a one-way stretch, or is it a two-way? No, one-way stretch. Not a lot, just more of a give. It's a cotton, so it's cotton elastane, but it's a one-way stretch. And so I whipped up a really quick skirt, super quick skirt, just a plain straight skirt to the knee. I wasn't in the, I think when I started losing my sight, I lost my confidence to make more structured garments. So this was at the time when I was really losing my sight and had really lost my confidence. Although I haven't made a lot of structured garments with this lot, it's not so much the lack of confidence, it's just I'm enjoying the serotonin dopamine hit of these instant quick makes and super cheap quick makes. And quite frankly, that's really what I needed in my wardrobe, was just basic t-shirts and So I loved the skirt, but it shrunk in the wardrobe. You know, I don't know why that, my clothes do that a lot, shrink in the wardrobe. So I found the extra piece of material that I had left over, and what I did is I was going to put a piece in the back and put kick pleats or kick splits in it, but what I did instead, don't know why, is I put a panel in the front, so it's all the way down, and I put darts in the back. So it's got elastic in the back, so it's not very prettily made. I've got to say it's a fairly so I've just got the elastic on it like that. It's no band or anything like that, and that fits really well now, and it's actually quite nice because it takes the stretch, not that there's a lot of stretch in it, but away from the tummy, so it just sort of has this nice panel in the front that sits. And when I was finding that piece of material to enlarge that skirt, there was enough material left to make a little tank top. So I was in a tank top, as I've probably said before, I've been in a tank top sewing buzz because I live in tank tops in the summer at home, and so I've been doing a lot. So I whipped up a tank. It's a funny material for a tank top. It's not, I mean, this would make a stunning dress, but at the time I brought it and cut it up, as I say, I didn't have the confidence to make a dress. I would love to buy another lot and make a beautiful dress with this now. Just a lined, sort of a 1950s, you know, with a bit of a gore, fuller skirt and the fitted bodice. That's what I would love to do. But for now, if I ever find the material again, I'll go and get some more. But this is it. So I just whipped up a tank top. Does what it says. Just a basic tank top. And so I can wear that with the skirt and make it look like a dress, or I can wear it separate, the two of them separately with different colours. So when I also looked through my remnant pieces, when I found those sort of rusty gold vest type pieces, I found a great big tube of red knit. Again, I have no idea where I got it from. I'm pretty sure it was from this woman that gave me this bag full of remnants. This was a knit material that was a tube that big. So I thought, oh, I'll make a dress, because if you saw my last podcast, I'd made a tank dress in this material that I absolutely love and live in. This isn't it, by the way. I'll talk about this in a minute. So I thought, right, I'll make a dress. So I didn't have enough to do the length with full bands, but I thought if I did the bands really narrow with like a, if you can see that, like a, so it is a band and you put it on the same, but it's very narrow. It's almost, so it makes it look like piping, really. So I've done that all the way around the sleeves, and then I put it on, and I did look like a sausage. I looked like a Savoy, red Savoy. It was awful. Not pretty at all. So I cut it down to make a vest, to make a tank top, which, you know, you can make look so much better with different shapes under you. I've got a bit of thread there somewhere. Oh, yeah, there. So that's just going to be a simple red tank top for around the place. I cut the skirt off, and that didn't fit me for obviously it didn't fit me, so, and they look really nice together, so wearing that tank with that skirt kind of breaks it up as well. So I put some elastic in the matching part of that red for the skirt, and I gave it to my daughter. So she's small, much smaller than me, so she will probably look quite nice in it. Yeah, so I did that. Oh, can you believe it? My lap is empty. I feel like there's more. Oh, there's this one that I'm wearing now. So this is just, it had some, as I said, I'd made a dress, tank dress with bands, and I had this left over, and I absolutely adore this material. Gosh, it's a material for me to wear as well, because it's a full way elastine stretch, so it's super comfortable. It doesn't cling to the body, and it is such cool colours. It's way cool. And it was left over, so I whipped this up. I didn't have enough of bands, so I just zigzagged it. So it's just for around the house. It didn't have enough of the length, but I found this. Well, actually what happened is a friend of mine was making a t-shirt at my sewing class, out of this material, and I don't want to show you my tummy, don't want to scare you. And I laid this on it by just put it out of the way, and we both went, oh, they look good together. And so I found enough to be able to put a bottom on it of this colour. So if I can stand up, you can see it. So it's just a simple, yeah. And that's for a t-shirt for around the house on the weekend. There we go. So at the end of this, I will put me wearing them on in some stills, and that's, I'm sorry to bore you with just purely all knitting. I've just been out in the veggie garden and brought in some beautiful big tomatoes from my garden. I said to Mr. Farmer, tomato and toast for tea. So I think that's what we'll be having, because we might as well make the most of them while we've got them fresh. Yeah, so that's me. I hope you've enjoyed that. Hopefully my sojo will settle down a tad, although I am cutting out 3 t-shirts as we speak, longer sleeve t-shirts. Oh, where is that one? I did bring that, didn't I? Oh, this one. I didn't show this. Well, I think I showed you this on my last podcast. So I made this some time ago. It's a 2-way, oh, it's more of a 1-way, but it's a little bit the other way. Stretch, cotton with a bit of elastine in it. I made a long sleeved t-shirt / sweatshirt type thing with the pink, just a different coloured band in it. Another rookie mistake, can sit next to my knickers. Forgot to wash the material before I made it, and because it's got cotton in it, it really shrank, and it is definitely way too tight for me, so my daughter will probably gain that. But I absolutely loved this, and I just got so many comments when I wore it that I sent for some more material, because it's really pretty. And I've got navy linen pants which looked nice with it. I've also got a vest this colour, so in the colder months I can wear it under my vest and it'll show through this colour. So I'm remaking that. I've washed the material. So there we go. So I've got 3 to cut out, 3 t-shirts, or long sleeve. I want to make long sleeve ones, and I'll show you those when I've made them, but I've got them half cut out now. So it's Sunday here in New Zealand, and so I've done all the housework, the laundry's on the line, I've done the vacuuming, bathrooms and that are all clean, so I can, and I've collected out of the garden, and we're only having tomato and toast for tea. So I can sew this afternoon, sew and read my book, my 2 favourite things to do on the weekend. And I'll get those 3 done. Yeah, alright. Enough boring you. Enjoy looking at the photos at the end of this, and I will catch you at the next one. Bye for now. Forgot to tell you about my pink cardigan. I also made a pink knit cardigan. You'll see that in one of the photos. It's a 2-way cotton elastane fabric, and I just put a band on around the neckline and around the bottom. One of the photos looks like it's 2 different sizes, like the edges don't meet, but it's purely the way I'm standing. It is. I've checked because I saw that and I thought, oh, the sleeves could be a smidge long, but that's all right. I can live with that because it's going to be a cardigan, so you want it to get over your bigger stuff. Yeah, so added that to it. Bye.